even in spirituality, to see each other. I was also greatly tempted to conduct few more sessions online so that we can interact. One dear brother of ours from Madhya Pradesh, he posed a question, and that tempted me, or rather coerced me, to begin this series every Sunday. He put a question based on his reading from Truth Eternal, asking a question that what is this clay and the fertile soil which is compared in relationship with God and Satan, the role of the mind in the whole process. Mind can become a precious thing, a fickle mind, disturbed mind, restless mind. It can become the precious thing, meaning a very fertile soil for a Satan. While the same mind, when it is regulated, it becomes a fertile soil for God. But when it is not regulated, it is useless for God. It becomes a mere clay. So this is to explain that. But then there are many other questions asked to me later through other emails, that how we become pasus. Pasus meaning tamed animals who are bound by a rope. Examples are bullocks, cows and buffaloes, goats, animals of that caliber. The freely roaming lions and tigers, we cannot put them in the categories of pasus. At two or three places in Truth Eternal, Lalaji has referred to this pasu, human becoming pasus or becoming animals of that level, who are tied, rather those who are identified with few things, which I would like to read out to you from Truth Eternal so that we can understand the full meaning of it. This has its reference in a chapter called Karma. I jump to the straight reference. The thought of good and evil itself is implied in right and wrong intention. What makes it good is your good intention. What makes it bad is your bad intention. The man with intention knows that right or virtuous is good and wrong or vice is bad. And wherever there is this thought, the law of good and evil fruits operates, and accordingly the jiva accordingly automatically gets the good and evil fruit of action. This is good and evil fruit. It is as natural as development and thinking. That individual existence which has no conception of right and wrong, that is, which has neither good nor bad intention, does not also have either good or bad results thereof. It only grows, thinks and moves just as an infant does. All three bodies are found in each and every individual manifestation. But as their characteristics vary in degree in different beings, certain stages have been clearly marked off accordingly. In minerals, the causal body itself is gross. The other bodies are included in it. Though it is outwardly insensible, it draws, combines and absorbs the atoms in the same way as a man in deep sleep is fed milk. In minerals, the causal body, the state of deep sleep or susupti are in a gross condition. The second category of existence, plants, have gross body along with causal body, which also includes the subtle body. They draw and combine the atoms, both mobile and static, and absorb them in a way similar to the condition of newborn. Both the dream state and deep sleep state, or swapna and susupti, are found in them. In animals, all the three bodies, the gross, the subtle, and the causal, they exist. They eat, drink, sleep, and wake, and experience joy and sorrow in all these three bodies. The conscious, dream, and deep sleep states, all these are found in them. In man also there are three bodies, gross, subtle, and causal. Their nourishment, growth, progress, thought, and happiness get strength in connection with these bodies. Some among them have kind of fourth state, which will be discussed at the end of this series, but I can tell you what this fourth state Lalaji Sahab is talking about is a Turiya state. Turiya state is something we experience during our deep and most absorbed sittings. And when this Turiya state lasts, even with open eyes during our mundane working hours, it becomes what we call Turiya Tit condition, meaning you are able to retain the condition which we had with closed eyes during sittings, has now spilled over during our waking and working state. Those in whom this condition is started are to be counted among men. Otherwise, they are as good as animals, pasus. Because pasus are bound by rope to a post. जैसे कहते हैं ना, पशु को बांध देते हैं खीते पे, उसको पशु कहते हैं. तो हम लोग भी बंधे हुए होते हैं, लेकिन जिसमें तुरिया की कंडीशन आ गई, दोज हु रिमेन एब्जॉर्ब्ड एंड रिमेन अवेयर, तो जागृत रहते हैं. डीप स्लीप में भी उनकी हालत ऐसा नहीं है कि वो सोते नहीं है, सोते हैं, लेकिन they are full of awareness of their inner state. Even when you tap them and you wake them up, they are not groggy. Their consciousness returns with a smile, with a good response. They don't get upset, oh, why did you tap me and woke me up? ऐसा नहीं कहते हैं. वो बंधे हुए नहीं हैं, उनको पूरा फ्रीडम है, इसलिए उनको पशु नहीं कह सकते. पशु उनको कहते हैं जो बंधे हुए हैं अपनी आदतों से, अपने विचारों से. तो आगे लाला जी साहब कहते हैं कि कौन कौन बंधे हुए हैं और क्यों बंधे हुए हैं. Those in whom this condition is started are to be counted. There are very few. बहुत कम लोग ऐसे हैं. Otherwise, they are as good as pashus. They belong to the category of beasts. They are not even animals, they are beasts, Lalaji says. If you observe the movements and actions of such men, you will find that they do all these things that animals do. Narapashu, slave of a man. Guru Pashu, slave of a guru. Striya Pashu, Veda Pashu. Sansara, मनुष्य सोई जानिए जाहि विवेक विचार. नर पशु, गुरु पशु, स्त्रिया पशु, वेद पशु, संसारा. मनुष्य सोई जानिए जाहि विवेक विचार. ये बहुत बहुत सुंदर पंक्ति है. ये जिनमें ये विवेक नहीं है वो गया. Those who worship or follow man gurus, women, and the Vedas, they're all beasts. He alone is a man who is capable of thinking and discriminating. Those who do not know the status of God and their own status and worship God, not with their own but with God's viewpoint, to them Vishnu becomes Rudra and makes them weep. जैसे ब्लाइंड फेथ रख के कई लोग सुनते रहते हैं, गुरुजी ने कहा है, गुरुजी ने कहा है, लेकिन कुछ अंदर से सोचते नहीं है कि सही में मेरे लिए है कि नहीं। बाबूजी महाराज ने भी कहा, हम भी जब एडवाइस देते हैं, whenever I give any advice, please make sure you refer it to your heart, and only when your heart okays it, obey. If your heart says no, don't obey. So this is how we can get out of this status of becoming a pashus, just by becoming aware of what I should be doing and what I should not be doing. So I'll now go to the next one, which baffles some abhyasis. This is from a chapter called, it's actually the last chapter, the subject of liberation. Lalaji writes, there are 3 causes of bondage: remembrance, meditation, and bhajan. Earlier in the chapter called Karma, Lalaji has described 4 or 5 categories of pashus: Nara Pashu, Striya Pashu, Guru Pashu, Veda Pashu. One wonders why he is calling Guru Pashus and Veda Pashus especially. I can understand Nara Pashu and Striya Pashu, but why Shastras and why Gurus? Because following Shastras and following Gurus without discrimination, without Viveka, without this heart, discriminating the entire thing, you become just a Pashu tied up to the post of a Guru or tied up to a Shastra. Again, somewhat controversial subject Lalaji touches, and he says there are 3 causes of bondage. Remembrance, which is so highly praised in Sahaj Marg, he says that it's a bondage. Second bondage is meditation, that we do all the time. Third, bhajan or devotion or bhakti towards God. All 3 things are so highly praised in Sahaj Marg, has been criticized by Lalaji Maharaj, that they can become the bondage. But when can they become bondage? He explains it. When the practice of these 3 is associated with external things, the result would be birth and bondage. And when they are practiced at heart, internally keeping the goal constantly in view, it will result in freedom from external and surface bondage. So, गुरु का स्मरण, गुरु पे ध्यान, गुरु की भक्ति ऐसी नहीं होनी चाहिए, दिखावा नहीं होना चाहिए। वो सही में अंदर से, दिल से होना चाहिए। जब याद करते हैं, सुपरफिशियली, मेंटली, जैसे कोई समस्या के बारे में सोचते हैं, इसी तरह गुरु को भी सोच लेते हैं। चलो यार, टाइम है, अभी सोच लेते हैं, उनका ख्याल कर लेते हैं। वो इधर उधर घूमते होंगे, सोते होंगे, सत्संग करते होंगे, पढ़ते होंगे। ये ख्यालों में, ये इमेजिनेशंस है। Connecting with the Master heartfully is a different matter altogether. Meditation, again as they say, for temptations of reaching the higher regions, आगे पहुंचना इसलिए ध्यान करते हैं, तकलीफों से बचना इसलिए ध्यान करते हैं, वो ध्यान नहीं है। Then it becomes a treatment by any physician. So you go into a treatment for your emotional well-being to a guru. अपने को अंदर अच्छा लगे इसलिए करते हैं, तो वो ध्यान भी बेकार का हो जाता है। और भक्ति एक्सटर्नली डन, थोड़ा रो लिए, थोड़ा गाना गा लिया, अरे गुरु बहुत अच्छे हैं, वो है, ये सब दिखावे हो जाता है, तो ये भजन कीर्तन डिवोशन भक्ति का कोई मतलब नहीं रहता है। इसलिए सहज मार्ग में बाबूजी बार बार और ख़ास करके जब ब्राइटर वर्ल्ड से मैसेजेस देते हैं, वेरी पावरफुल मैसेज, इंटीरियराइज योर मास्टर, interiorize His presence in your heart. Make His presence a livelier through your lifestyle. Then Sahajmal will work. Otherwise, it will only create bondage and slavery. पशु नहीं बनना है. You have to become like them. Also, this day, 19th April 1983, Pujya Babaji Maharaj took his last breath. That was in New Delhi. And then he was later cremated in Shahjahanpur. Homage to our dear Babaji. May he shower his love and grace continuously upon us and help us understand this path, Sahaj Marg, to its fullest extent and help us grow spiritually with pranams. Now we'll begin meditation. Please start meditation. That's all.